Backwards, man. This shit's hard as fuck.
You know, I've got it Japanese on the and I've got the Saturn out behind me. I really should just go ahead and put it on the CRT.
Damn, I
fucking go.
We were ready to go.
Even though the Saturn version is
start streaming.
Inferior, yet it does have more levels. Yeah, right off the rip. Right off the rip, you can choose whoever the heck you want to.
Fuck out of here.
That you should.
Oh, playing this backwards is tie-in. Oh.
Inferior.
Oh. Victor!
You get to play as Mario.
Lend him your strength.
I think that was the...
There's Secret kneeling down there.
You fucking bitch, die. Yeah!
How can this be? No.
No, he goes, what does she know? What does she know? That's all I heard. I didn't get the how this be. I got what does she know?
You can't lose.
Ba-na-na, ba-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na. Ba-na-na. Oh my god. And that's the thing is the if you look at the what are they calling it? Classic collection, it comes with the soundtrack, reversible poster. No. Well, that one does too. But there's like a $65 or something? Because there's 3 different tiers. There's 3 different tiers.
Oh, the $180 one.
It's
So the spread.
All right, here you go, Richard. This is a game we were talking about when you showed me that Sony advertisement.
Is another SKU? All right, trying to figure out how to sound now.
Poster.
Robot.
I acquired it.
God damn it.
The European one. I do.
I thought I found something for real.
So yeah, Richard, if
it's really good. It plays like a Gunstar Heroes, like the second one before they get to Advance.
Is this the Gunstar Heroes one?
If you look at the thread, you'll see
Where did you find it?
This is the classic edition. It comes with a retro style box.
Is it good?
Of course, the game, the soundtrack, and a 18 by 24 reversible poster. And then that one's that's $64.99. The one that's $174. It gives you this giant box with some beautiful art on it. It gives you
2 feet by not 2 feet.
It gives you a Save Point coffin box.
Sure.
Foil stamped with decorative detachable text box.
What does that get you, Brent? What does that get you, Brent?
A Alucard sword and shield replica. Retro style box, steelbook, vampire killer chain. Numbered certificate of authenticity. The soundtrack. Reversible 18 by 24 poster and alternate double-sided game covers. It's just Rondo of Blood or Symphony of the Night.
Like the chain.
Yeah, if you look under that tweet, there's literally the first 2 tweets at the bottom of it are the picture of the classic edition and then the Ultimate Edition.
The Japanese cover versus the US one.
Oh, they tweeted that, and I started looking, and then they're gonna have they've got what is this? Official playing cards, enamel pins, keychains, a Medusa head keychain. Get that shit out of here. Classic tee. They're not releasing the game, but they still have the Castlevania collection themed Switch case available. Well, yeah, this is all stuff that they, I guess, still have left over from the Castlevania collection.
It's not coming for Switch, but they'll give you a Switch case.
Yeah.
Okay. No, somebody's messaging me. All right, we have one viewer. I know of one specifically who is watching live.
So how are we doing this? Are we doing games of the year first, and then into news and
I've got news pulled up, so our usual delay tactics.
It doesn't matter. We can do that first, or we can do it last. It really doesn't matter. What are you playing on, Cesar?
I mean, yeah. Do you want to do
Polymega
that way?
I'm really thinking about it. I kind of want one.
Let me see if it's in my notes. We need to tell the people first, since we
I think it's for me,
week.
But
let me see if I have notes on it.
It's just do I want to do it? That interface and being able to put my physical discs in.
Let's all convene here and help set mine up. Brant, you can see
It
this
just
for you.
it looks so good.
Do you want that interface, or do you want to play them on PC? The same emulators.
You worried forever about getting it, and then you've got it, and you just haven't even done jack with it.
Cesar's been harassing me about mine. I still have to.
Oh, yeah.
I still suck.
Pause it.
That you will use never.
I have been struggling with a great many things. I also have
but we'll see.
I might have showed y'all this. The Jaguar 2S video.
Oh, you got it.
Oh god. Did I open this one?
I can.
Did I already do the show and tell? Probably something I'll end up using maybe more than the Polymega. The RetroTink 5X. Yeah.
Oh no, not
second
that
wave
again.
of them. So at some point I'm gonna hook that up to the OLED to try that out and see
Get another drawer. Open the other
if
one.
that is the way to go.
Is that a picture of your own urine, or is it a picture of beer?
I've been buying my cheese stuff for years. I've got 2 other RetroTinks.
God.
I bought the very first one when it didn't come with. I know that's bad.
Yeah, it's no case. It's just got some.
It's not in that drawer. Hold on.
Acrylic.
It's not in that drawer. So I bought. That is a picture of not my own urine. So I know it's bad. I bought the first RetroTink that was available that just came in this. You had to build.
It looked good.
Own. Yeah, but it's not. I was looking because I was talking to Mike about it on Twitter. It's not assigned. He signed some of the PCBs, and I don't have that one. But some of our
we tried that
earlier
at first. Remember, and they crapped
streams
out.
with what I think Mario Kart Double Dash. I think we
Where
played through
did you
this.
find that at? From like Walmart or something like that? Clearance?
And Cesar
What
and
was
I
it
playing
again?
Blitz. We played through that.
Oh, it was a Goodwill.
What was
Yeah.
one?
The asterisks.
This piece of shit. The Dazzle. Try the Dazzle. Hey. No, Goodwill. Goodwill. I have two Dazzles. No, we streamed something with this. We either did Blitz or Mario Kart with the Dazzle on my Huawei. That was the problem, is we were using Wi-Fi.
That's why you're gonna have every iteration of it.
Shit. Good times. The other retro tank I still need to use. This is the...
Was it the 4 or something like that?
I think this is a 2X Pro. This is when it started getting the actual... Yeah, 2X Pro. That's when it started getting the actual...
Those will be the good ones.
Boards with them. Am I missing a retro tank? I think there's one they've made that I don't have. And then next year...
And then one.
Next year he has the dedicated ones coming out for like Saturn and was it PlayStation, PS2, PS3, PS1. Yeah, they're dedicated, so it's just a straight slot into the back of the device. He knows what he's doing. Mike G is brilliant. He makes good stuff. Yeah, he makes good stuff. Oh, thank y'all for your help with that last weekend. I was panicking on Sunday. I was like, this is the whole podcast. What am I supposed to do here? And it wasn't even finished in the download to start with.
Might as well.
Ended up being there's an encoder built into Audacity that takes that Skype video that we make.
What are you talking about, man? The picture's there, dude.
And there was a hang up in between the two.
Fill the picture up, bro.
So which one are you going to? You going to the Benjo or you're going to the Benki? Which one?
All right, you guys ready to get started?
Benjo or Benki?
Which artist you want to do?
Benjo or Benki?
Who cares? All right, bathroom break real quick. Then we'll do... No. That's one I pee into. That's the one I drink from. You're confused. You're confused.
See if I can do this before he gets back.
No audio. Dang it.
All right.
There it is.
No.
Oh.
You were such on a hot streak.
Yeah. All right, what y'all decide?
I was trying to get it done in time before he came back. I was like, let me see if I can get this done in time.
We'll just get through news fast. I have played no games, so that'll help.
Heck yeah.
Have I played any games? No, I haven't played.
All right.
No, I played. Oh, well done, sister.
I just stole your NFT,
I leave,
sir.
and that's what happened.
I sent you
the. So Brett
I sent you the how-to how to steal NFTs. So. From a VTuber.
I have the definitive version. My NFT is worth.
With the Metal Gear Solid music in the background. All right. We're gonna steal some NFTs.
Nope, mine is the definitive one. Yours is the bastard one. You can't see the handle.
I'm 100% behind in front of Master Chief's crotch. So.
You sent me the instructional video. Yeah. There you go, Brant. Make it yours too. We'll all celebrate the game of the year together.
Let's see.
With the glowy bits.
Make sure this.
And
make sure
it's
mine's
the right way too. It's not reversed or anything.
not backwards or anything.
You just don't see me, so you get the whole reflection.
Come on. There it goes.
I approve of this mess. Hold on, we're gonna let Brant at it before we go live.
There it goes.
Here we go.
This will be a worthy picture.
Richard, we did it. We're all in the same room again.
Brent's MacBook. Brent's MacBook Skype.
Just like that.
Our viewers just don't know, man. We're all in this tiny ass
This
room.
is what I'm here for.
We're all just staring at each other in a circle.
Together again.
This is the content I crave.
We all got a pitcher of beer on the cabinet right behind us.
Finally.
Hold on.
We're all in front of Master Chief looking out into the void.
Stupid.
Only I have the handle facing myself.
It's Renee.
Everybody reach for their picture. Who has fluid levels moving? It's so awesome. Oh, people who were here earlier missing out. Is there anybody?
I'm using this filter for all my
only
meetings
two
at work
people.
now. I'm gonna be like, what's
Two
happening
people,
back there?
Renee's one of
There's
them.
beer back there. I'm gonna be getting like a drug test the next day. It's gonna be bad.
Renee, why are you here for this?
That's urine. I just meant to hide that.
You guys
from
won't let me
guys.
leave.
Holy shit.
I got
Take
locked
the
in
year,
here.
let's go. I love it.
I don't recognize this room.
You should. Yeah, like, no, there's no beer. I pissed on that thing. I'm so
No,
dedicated.
this whole stream,
I'm
this
so
whole stream is
dedicated to my work,
pre-recorded,
I don't
guys.
get up
Everything's
just
pre-recorded.
to urinate straight in this cup.
We're not actually doing this live. It's all pre-recorded.
Wait, so how did I turn mine exactly like the rest of y'all's? Look at it. It's exactly the same. I turned. Maybe I have the pre-rendered background. This is glorious. Oh, this makes it for me. So funny thing is, I want to use this. I don't know if my headphones will let me go far enough. Nope. So I want to use that cinema display, but it has a weird Apple-only interface. So you had to hook it up to the G4. It wasn't even an iMac. What would they call those? Mac Pros or something? You had to hook it up to the G4 Mac Pros, which they actually develop like Xbox games and stuff on. But I haven't found a way to separately power it. It doesn't have a power plug. It has to come from the tower.
I'm sure you can find something online. It's gonna be like something
Which I
stupid,
have
like you have
one.
to use like Windows.
I've got to put an OS on it, which is not a big deal, but it's just
Windows NT.
it's a matter of like going through all that stuff. I wish I could bypass it somehow and get power to it and use that display for other things that weren't, Mac OS 9. I guess it's 10 at that point.
Hey, if yours doesn't work, you can always borrow mine.
I got one too. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
line adapter for it, but it's like $100-something,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if that thing works. So I'm not gonna gamble. I don't want to gamble and get that power splitter thing and hook it up, and then it doesn't work. And then
It's funny you mentioned that because I had the exact same thing too, man.
Sister has one too. It's redundancy.
It's
Redundancy.
it's unbearable.
Hey, where'd you guys get
They're
your
awesome.
Samsung HD CRTs? I've got two. I got two
That's where it
4x3
belongs.
ones and
Yep,
two
yeah,
16
exactly,
by 9.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
did
'cause
you guys get
it's-
yours from?
Yep. Damn that composite.
Do you have input lag on composite input? It's unplayable, right? You can't do anything with it. It's awful. God. Y'all put yours in the corner of your room too? Is that what they're supposed to be? So these were spread out in a this is inside baseball. These were spread out in another room all by themselves on the floor. And I was like, you know what?
You just gotta-
don't really
you just gotta survive
like
to
these
the end, right?
sets, but I want to keep them just because. So here's a way to stack them up, and if they break, they break. I did my best. If they're usable in the future, that's fine too. So there they
And then we
said.
played
until
Silent
we can
Hill, like, a
all
month before that,
reconvene
too.
yet again for a
Hill
Halo
2.
LAN party, which I'm
Never
craving.
finished it.
I'm
Main
craving
character's
it,
just
man.
waiting there
We
for
didn't
us.
know how
What the
good
fuck
we
these
had
guys
it in
doing for us,
January.
dude?
Was that January 2020? We all got
Just
together for
sitting on
LAN
that
party,
that memory
and
card.
then
Just sitting
everything
there.
went to shit. It was 2 years ago.
How dare you? Yeah.
We did.
Don't
play
mix
some
the pee in the
Silent
beer,
Hill
man.
and
Come on.
streamed it.
The amateur thing.
Yeah. I had to leave that house. It was that drastic.
Yeah, but it's the taste that's the difference.
I almost reached for the pee bucket. Silly me. It all turns into the same thing at some point. It all turns into the same thing at some point. Alright, let's get ready to record. Y'all ready?
Lies.
Ladies
Yeah,
and
it's all
gentlemen,
about
welcome
duping. We
to
keep doing it
episode
till April 1st.
190. Holy shit, that's a ton of episodes.
Lies.
Of the NOFODcast. We are no outside food or drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. We duped you last week. We promised
It's gonna be
this
like
week we'll
that
include our
that joke they always do on
selections.
the.
Twice, we have to do it
They
twice.
always call out for Matt Damon. He's never there. Sorry for Matt Damon. We didn't have enough time on there. What's his name?
Did you say
from,
lies or twice?
ABC. I forgot what his name is.
Okay, lies is fine. I'm okay with lying to the audience, but doing it twice, I'm like, I don't know. It's a bit much. It's a lot of work. It's a... This is the worst game of the year podcast you have heard.
Six Axis.
Tonight's news includes Rivety teaming up with Tencent. What does that mean? Sonic gets the Lego treatment. NFTs and video games? Question mark. Oh god, I thought this was going to be a short news bit. PSVR 2 details. That was last night, and that was exciting for the three of us, I know.
Yeah,
Death
funny how
Stranding.
you had to copy me and Cesar
Death
to
Stranding
change your
Director's
background
Cut coming
like
to
that.
PC. I thought this was already a thing, but apparently it's news. And we have your January Game Pass and PlayStation Now titles. I am Richard Bergman and Master Chief and a pitcher of beer. Joined also by Master Chief, a pitcher of beer, and Brant McKee.
Yep, and I got that weird thing since I'm bald where there's a
You
little
got
bit
to
of
go to
Demon
the
Slayer.
bathroom,
Just,
you learned
know,
your lesson,
off the top
never
of my
do it
head.
again. We took your
Just enough.
background and we copied it. Cesar sent it
Only
to
the Demon Slayer part.
myself and himself, and we made it our background. Because apparently Halo Infinite might be your game of the year. Also joining me,
Yeah,
and
it's,
Halo Infinite
it's
might be his game of the
it's a
year,
feature,
is Cesar
not a
Concepcion
defect.
II.
Yeah.
If you join our Patreon, maybe you can get this NFT.
There we go.
We don't judge you. Is that only for bald
Maybe.
people?
Actually,
Is
we
that
could
the-
probably do a tutorial on how to show you to get every NFT for free. So
It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Wait till
screen
our NFT.
capture and save.
Oh no! Don't ruin it. Spoilers.
I was
Hey,
laughing
put us
because
on this
the
podcast
VTuber one I
and
sent
put
to
us
Richard
on
was
air
they
for
try
the
to
next
save
2 or
the
3
screen
years.
capture and it says
Maybe we
original.
look
Don't
at
steal.
it. Is that a thing?
That's what I told her.
Cesar, do you want to explain that in 5 seconds or less? Somebody I saw retweeted it said, "We love to see this when the NFT bros get
Hey Richard, you got
something
a
goes wrong
special
with the
guest,
NFT bros or
Pax.
the crypto bros." And someone
Yes.
said, "I've been hacked. My
He's hearing
ape is
your
gone."
robotic voice.
Someone stole it. You love to see it. When did the ape thing become such a big? Is that
Sure
the
that's not
poster
Bill
child
Paxton?
for NFTs? Is that where that became a thing?
Somehow when you typed it in there, it only went to
Paxton's on.
Twitter,
Welcome,
Twitch.
Paxton.
Twitter. There it
Your
goes.
cousin's son
Good
from
job.
Refried Beans. Welcome.
It's a slight delay on my YouTube, not yours. Your phone.
Thanks for joining, Paxton. It is 4 o'clock your time. Oh God, Bill Paxton's dead. Rest in peace. I was about to say, when I'm looking at it on Restream, it goes to both. Okay, Paxton, let's backpedal for a minute, even though this is the podcast. This is Paxton, Patty's son, your cousin's
He wanted to
son.
do the cliff notes for
First off,
for me
you
and
are
Brent.
the only Paxton I know.
Now
And
I'm
it's
up on the up and up.
Paxton I know. You do not have to elaborate that you're Patty's son. I know you're Patty's oldest son. And that is my cousin, that you're my cousin's son. I'm aware of all 3 of these facts. All you have to say is, this is Paxton, and I know who you are. So, thanks for joining us. Hey, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Paxton stayed a week.
Oh, you said it. Halo's always a good time.
A week and a half. It's been like 4 years, it feels like. But I had Xbox.
Nope.
That was the 360, the 360E.
Oh, I'm breaking illusion! I'm breaking the illusion! Oh God, no!
Anniversary campaign, co-op. So that was a good time. Always comes back to Halo, right? How does that happen?
Moving too fast.
Mine's okay. Nope, there it goes.
Or copies, or Cesar with his Halo of his Halo of. It doesn't do that when I do that.
Why is it so hard for me to reach for this?
This
is my nightmare. I really gotta go to the bathroom.
Look how fast my camera.
I can't reach the
perfect.
Can't reach.
Let me turn on the Mac screen I got back here. Hold on.
The possible.
I need an extra screen. Let me see.
The possible P picture.
There we go. Oh, somehow my hand disappeared. Oh.
There is no spoon, Cesar.
Let me grab this whatever this Dyson thing is over here. It's cut off on my picture, so it looks like some kind of weird, like half of a elliptical Dyson thing.
You see the power button? The power button is actually visible. You see it, right? There it is. No, that's the CRTs. Okay, so some more inside baseball. So there's two 16:9 CRTs on the bottom. HD CRTs are heavy as shit. There's two 4:3 ones on the top, bookended. So they're like, it's on the bottom they're bookended, on the top they're bookended. So the bottom one was my first ever HD TV. I couldn't afford a flat screen LCD style one, so I got a HD CRT from BrandSmart in 2007.
Hey, you divide the value and bam, you get two for the price of $300.
Got that from
$3.
It was $600 something.
Yeah.
The
way I look at it.
Ending it.
Yep.
I found.
Look at my $300. Two of my $303.
12 years later at Goodwill for $6.
I'm done with this drink. Let me place this drink up here. Hopefully nothing bad happens when I put it on.
I did. $303 a piece. Well worth it.
Puerto Rican car bomb.
Oh, there we go.
Strangely, we all have the same. Oh God, Cesar, don't mix them. Cesar, you can't mix those.
Unscribe, block, unfollow.
Cesar, that's a Puerto Rican car bomb.
Unfollow, mute, yeah.
Instead of
Go on change.org, tell them to stop making podcasts, getting people to sign
it. It's still
Find us on Twitter, tell us to donate our
Oh God, our
podcast.
listeners are so lost.
What
the fuck is even happening?
Donate your computers and your microphones.
Alright. You're mute. We don't put enough stuff out there to mute us. You probably keep listening to us. Donate your podcast. Alright, first bit of news. Remedy Entertainment signed global agreement with Tencent for free-to-play co-op shooter Vanguard. This comes from Gamatsu. Tencent to localize and publish the game for select Asian markets, as well as develop the mobile version, which apparently is a big deal these days. Remedy Entertainment has signed a global development, licensing, and distribution agreement with Tencent for the game codenamed Vanguard, not to be confused with Medal of Honor or Call of Duty Vanguard. It's free-to-play cooperative shooter in development for consoles and PC. The company announced.
It seems like
Entertainment will publish the game worldwide.
It just seems like everything they're doing is just trying to expand.
The game for
so it's kind of like what they're doing, what Quantic Dream did, where Quantic Dream had that deal with Sony, and they're like, all right, it's time to do our own thing, and now they're publishing stuff,
these days?
making their own games. It seems like that's where I think Remedy will head to eventually start publishing their self-publishing. And I think they're just doing the Quantic Dream route. So
yeah.
Nope, other than more games as a service. Yay.
Yeah.
It's a good example.
Like we're all in anticipation for what Babylon's Fall or Tower or whatever the hell is coming out.
All right. Is there anything else in there worthwhile? Their first venture. They know it.
With the music? No music? No music? Music there?
Does he interact with the Mario Lego at all?
Do they perform in the Olympic Games when they come together?
The verse
is this the Lego
Lego's
metaverse?
Official Sonic the Hedgehog set recreates picture-perfect Green Hill Zone. Go ahead. Oh, the Mario Lego set is awesome. He looks weird. His chest looks weird. Anyways, the sub, what is it heading? It says ring in the new year, which I like. Oh, we see what you did there, Chaim Gottenberg of The Verge. After months of waiting, Lego's official Sonic the Hedgehog set is finally here. A $69.99 nice 1,125-piece recreation of the iconic Green Hill Zone stage, complete with Legoized versions of the titular heroic hedgehog, a handful of classic Sonic villains, Dr. Eggman, and of course the Chaos Emeralds.
Nintendo nixed it.
This was the result
of the Lego
get
it approved from the
Lego
IP
contest from March 2020, and in February 2021, they greenlit the proposal for development into a real set. It reached 10,000 votes. That's all it needs? The idea program? And we've never gotten a Zelda one or anything out of that?
Yeah, they have a bunch of little pictures and stuff. I think this actually leaked out like a few days before they actually officially showed it.
And so, of course, Sega being how Sega
yeah, this actually looks pretty dang good.
A new movie coming. Obviously, this seems like a good selection, right? It looks really good if you look at that set.
That's right.
The Verge notes the new Sonic set isn't technically the first time that Sonic has appeared in Lego form. The character was part of a Lego Dimensions tie-in set in 2016. I think Cesar talked me into buying that. Although the new minifigure version of Sonic has an updated design with additional details like Sonic's sneaker buckle.
It's very Lego. Yeah, it's very Lego.
Yeah.
I see that now. Interesting. This looks good. The head looks fine. The legs look fine. The arms look fine. The body is the Lego body. So just take the slim and svelte Sonic, whether you prefer the old school design or the new school, and put that in a blocky Lego thing. Yes, it is. But the head looks great, right? That's a perfect Sonic head. Cesar messaged me.
It's the IP, man. That's all it is. That's all. I'm more excited about the Sonic IP
does it do?
than I'm about the Mario one. So that's just me.
The Mario sets where you can build your own levels and have the sound effects, and you know, I can tell he does do the Bluetooth. Yeah. That's kind of a missed opportunity. I feel like that's a niche thing, but those Mario sets are really cool. Yeah. That's true. And as much as like our whole household loves those Mario sets, but the Mario ones look weird. They look
I put this in here because obviously
it's not news,
this is becoming a thing, and I feel like
actually unveiled.
We can talk about our personal feelings toward the subject, but this particular
about Square Enix
article comes from Andy Robinson from Video Games Chronicles, and it talks about how Square Enix was the most recent developer to come out and say that they want NFTs and blockchain to become a major part in games. I know, what was it? Ubisoft's Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, they're putting stuff in there. And then Stalker 2, they were going to put NFTs and they got so much backlash that they pulled it. But Square Enix president Yosuke Masuda published a New Year's letter and expressed the company's enthusiasm for emerging industries, the trend like NFTs and blockchains, and he basically said that he believes in blockchain. They hold the potential to enable self-sustained game growth by publishing a play-to-earn concept. He also acknowledged the cynicism around blockchain and some concerns, claimed that it would attract a new audience. So yeah, it just goes into that.
I'm just premising.
They know that some people don't like it, but they kind of, obviously anybody is going to see this. They use those buzzwords, NFTs, and the blockchain, and it's just like loot boxes. I mean, what was that? 5-6 years ago, loot boxes were everywhere in games, and to some extent they still are. These are worse, I think. When I think of stuff like this, I think of kind of like TF2 with the whole trading of the hats and the cosmetics, the knives. What was that whole big thing where you had that whole ring of people go down because they had that gambling website where you could buy that stuff for CSGO? Do you remember that? That huge ring of people that had that online gambling website for CSGO
I don't know,
stuff?
man. When you say ring, I always think of Ring of Fire, and then I'm gone. I'm already lost. Yeah, sure. It's always, for me, it's always gonna be Johnny Cash, but
yeah,
that's personal.
Johnny Cash or Ring of
so I mean,
social distortion.
with NFTs and stuff, it's such a big trend, and it's so easy for people to make and distribute and sell NFTs and copy them, obviously. Oh, he disappeared.
Copy. Let's go to our live.
I didn't even remember it until you mentioned it.
Who owns one? Yeah, he backed out. So that's our concept.
And after this conversation, after this episode, I will probably continue to forget until somebody mentions like, "Hey, do you have one?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right, I do."
How do you feel about owning an NFT? What is it? Has it improved your life? Has it been a detriment to your life?
I got to survive the 50 years first.
I'll never stop reminding you.
Yeah.
The joke will be on me and Brant when you can sell that Spider-Man NFT in 50 years for millions.
Yeah.
The joke's on us, right? That's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. What Brent said. I mean, I don't think the NFT stuff's not for people in gaming.
NFT's bad.
For people
Everything
being
bad.
that world. So I mean, they just said it because it's a gaming company, and all of us are looking at it like this is dumb. But how many of us are actually going to partake in that? It's going to be for people who are like, it's like freaking Beanie Babies or something like that. It's just want to collect NFTs. That's who they're trying to get, and they're like, hey, we're just going to get the money from these people because they just want to collect these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
but
okay, I still you still have people who mining for Bitcoin. So I mean,
has that Beanie Baby, right?
Who knows how your imaginary graphics card mining for currency. like it's a fucking Minecraft. It's
you
like real life.
had
And you're,
a Beanie Baby to hold.
I mean, who's to say that value's gonna
NFTs
hold?
are just
So
avatars, or
and that's what they talked about. The other thing was centralizing games or gaming. They're saying like blockchain based tokens that will enable this. Designing a viable token economies in our games will be enable self-sustaining currency or self-sustaining growth, game growth. It's precisely the sort of ecosystem that lies at the heart of what I refer to as decentralized gaming.
Yeah. I hope it's not for us.
I hope that this becomes a major trend in gaming going forward.
Yeah, it's not for us. It's not for us. But
it's not for us, and I don't. Yeah, like you're saying, I don't know how many people will think of this as something they want in their games.
But then again, and we're sitting here bitching. But then again, everybody who, if they hit it big and everybody buys NFTs that are not in gaming and somehow funds a Chrono Trigger remake, then none of us are gonna bitch. At this point, we're like, all right, yeah sure, whatever. You know what I mean? You know, if they were like, hey, we used all this money from NFTs to make this game you want, or port this game you want, then everybody's gonna shut the hell up. So,
yeah, we'll shut up.
I'll be like, all right, yeah, just give it to me. Just don't put it on Steam and leave it there.
So sorry, I sent you. I know the guy who developed 1080. I think his last name's Gobert, and he did the snowboarding game for the Quest, right? So he's been making those games for 25 years now, maybe. And he put out there a demo of a snowboarding game for the Playdate, where you turn the crank and you did all these twists and turns and all that kind of stuff. And it looked amazing. It looked so good. And then he followed up and he said, what if we release an NFT to help fund the game? Is that something you
whatever, like 800 Microsoft points, which is like equivalent to $10 or something like that?
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I guess, but I guess it...
Because it's like 16... It was 1,600 for 20, remember? It was some bullshit...
Nobody wanted the horse armor. And
it was like the currency. I got more money from converting yen to dollar than I did from dollar to Microsoft points. I mean, it was
$10.
It's that bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. $10. It was $10. Yeah, 800. It was weird. I forgot it had that god awful. Yeah. You're right. It was that god awful translation. I'm broke in dollars, but I'm a millionaire in Microsoft bucks. So he said, but it almost to me seems like a pre-order bonus. Like, why make that an NFT? Why not make that, like, I've bought certain music CDs that came with a clip of the actual reel that they encoded the music. They recorded the music with.
I'm glad we're bringing Beanie Babies back.
Part of what the music was.
I'm looking forward to going into my local Kroger tomorrow and be like, oh, there's Beanie Babies everywhere. Oh shit.
And everything else. So that to me is like that is a tangible item. Back to the Beanie Babies. But would we be willing to fund a snowboarding game? It's all about the Beanie Babies. By the way, this is going to be Game of the Year 2021.
If you want NFTs, yeah.
Beanie Babies probably would have been pretty good. Unless we just want to make it that, but it is what it is. So why make... Are they having to use the guise of NFTs to fund game development? Like, are they trying to say, hey, pitch in, get this rare NFT,
it depends on what they're doing. Because, I sent you that link for that game. What was it?
Yeah, like, I would fund that.
A Kickstarter 6 years ago? It was exactly 6 years. And it's still, they pushed it back another 6 months, remember? I'm like, I paid $80 for this game
by having the
that was supposed to be on the Vita. Then they ended up canceling because they couldn't make it in time, where they cut off the date. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And I was like, fuck it, I'll keep and get it on PC, whatever, because it's a visual novel. And then they still can't fucking release it on PC. So it's like, I'm waiting for the day they come in there and it's like, hey, yeah, we fucked up. You know, like they found a game-breaking bug. It's like when it switches from 4x3 to 16:9,
release it on the
game breaks. It's like, I cannot believe you guys have been developing for 6 years and porting this over, and you just figured it out.
Yeah.
Just give me the game in 4x3. I've been playing shit in 4x3 all day in the damn Polymega. I mean, I'm good. Just give me the fucking 4x3. I'm on a 4K screen with 4x3. It's like black borders everywhere.
So that's our just switch TVs. You're good. You don't need to worry about.
It's a fucking JPEG. It's a fucking JPEG. It's a picture.
It's a picture.
So with your use
you have nothing.
You have
nothing.
You had a.
It's the whole Beanie Baby thing. It's like, you remember, there's only a certain amount made for that typical Beanie Baby.
You could pull up and look at.
Yeah. I agree with you, but that's the whole thing you're buying into. Is like, I have one of 16 of this one image that I cannot possibly steal from anywhere else. It's the whole one of 16. It's not.
I'm trying
to. You can't go in there and like they're not sitting there like printing like money. Like, oh, here's 9,999. I'm playing. Like that one I showed you with that video was like, what was it, $1 million they were charging for an NFT that she stole? She just took a screenshot. It was like $1 million. And she's like, she just took a screenshot of it. And she's like, oh, this is how we steal NFTs, boys.
I can't right click.
And I mean, that's all it took. But it's like, why would you pay $1 million for it? Because there's only one of that kind. Yeah. I'm waiting for what they're going to do is they're going to come out like an NFT viewer, and then you can just take it out the computer and put it in your viewer. And then and they're going to put like a painting on the wall. Like, this is the only place you can see this NFT. That's what it's going to end up happening, like, where you can just make it your own.
They're right. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And I'm worried.
What do you do with that?
I know Apple's looking at it like, man, we'll just come up with a viewer, man, and everybody these NFTs buying. That's yeah. Maybe they'll print it on that 3D poster right across my eyes so I can see the image every time.
It's gonna be an Apple thing. It's gonna be an Apple thing.
Like crossing your eyes, that's how I did it too.
$500 viewer.
Yeah. They're like staring at all you're doing is staring at it for so long you go cross-eyed. I mean, that's all you do. I just automatically cheated and beat it in the beginning. Just like cross my eyes. There it is. It's a bird flying across the ocean. I figured it out. Somebody's there for 3 hours looking at it. I'm like, I don't get it.
That's how I solved it every time. People are like, just stare at it, you'll see it. I'm like, no, just fucking go cross-eyed and you'll look at that shit. There's dinosaurs. I can't remember if you were here or not, but I won't say my family's trashy enough, but there was one Outback Steakhouse in the vicinity. And we would go and put our name in the hat at the Outback Steakhouse, and it would take forever, right? They would tell you 45 minutes. And this is before you could give you the buzzer thing, so you just had to check in.
I know of that Outback. I know it's by major highway, and I would rather just run into the major highway. There's like 9 lanes of that, and see if I can make it to the end, like Progress style, versus going into that one store.
Would go with us, and I distinctly remember us going in this gallery of these things and just like staring at these paintings. I see dinosaurs.
I do.
Yes. Brant, you're probably familiar with that area. I don't know if you remember where that Outback was.
Whoa!
Mount Zion and 54.
You're like, you're the fucking expert or something like that.
Oh,
that's like,
go look at
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because I've told you before. When we used to go to church on Sundays, and after church we would always go to damn service merchandise. So I was like, we were in there service merchandise everything, like every Sunday.
Everything.
I'll sit there.
Like, you could see it. I'm like, yeah, I just look cross-eyed.
Yeah. That's why I play Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct. I looked at the Sega 32X that I could never afford, never got from there. I just look at it every week, like maybe one day.
Yep.
I think I was in there looking for clothes in there too. I think that was one of my like school clothes outlets
from service merchandise. Yeah. I love that place.
Well,
I'm savoring mine. I'm savoring it.
Yeah.
Do you remember Mervin's that was across the street? It was like
still about a quarter of the way.
I got to make it to the end of the podcast, man. I can't get sloppy yet.
Mervin's. All right, let's do a quick spot check on
muscle memory.
P picture. How are y'all looking?
It's the whole you're being influenced from what you're seeing on our screen. You're like, it's like you're subconsciously putting it back that way. Yeah.
How do I put it back?
Like must put same way. That's what your brain says.
Look at it.
No, with this NFT
Holy
thing.
shit! We were talking about NFTs. Where did we get off?
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're back on this again.
The one thing, yeah. The one thing I was worried about is we're already in such a state of like preservation and all this, that if somebody starts putting NFTs in games or makes a game and says the game is the NFT, then what's going to stop that person from being like, well, now you can't stream it. Now you can't do this. Now this, you can only keep this one game here. You can't, share it. You can, it's, I don't know.
No,
I don't want to say it's a slippery slope, but it can get just really stupid.
Brent did it. You did it, buddy. You figured it out, man. Like Koei's going to come back and look at it like a Monster Rancher. Like, we're going to do this, but we're just, instead of putting CDs in there, you put NFTs and you get different monsters. We figured it out.
Yeah.
I would play too. Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, it's like old school. Well, I guess Pokemon still does that, where you can only get certain Pokemon in certain versions. You've got to buy every different version.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And then you get yellow later on in the year with the the best of both worlds. And they just give you a different starter
to plug into my Monster Rancher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then get missing no when they hack it with their Game Gear or whatever the fuck they put in there.
No, don't ever catch missing no. Don't ever catch it. Just use it to clone your items.
Or you go to Media Play and somebody teaches you how to cut it off at the right time, and then you both get Mew. That's what
Six Axis!
What a segue.
Let's go! Lair! We're getting a Lair port. Let's go!
Yep. Feed it the rare candies or whatever that was.
Oh, gosh.
Speaking of rare candies, we got
the
some
NFT
information on the next generation PlayStation VR. What a segue.
I'm doing the Yeti Walk. Yeti Walk. I got the Yeti Walk. Check it out.
Cesar, I'm only reading this news with Brant. He purchased the NFT.
He's gone. He disappeared. Just like the Yeti.
Oh God. Let that never be a thing. Oh, he's leaving. He's taking his Master Chief and getting out of here.
Yeah.
He's out of here. Okay, last night at CES, Sony had their big press conference, and we weren't expecting much, but we did get a massive unveiling, which no one was expecting, I think, of PlayStation VR 2. This news comes from The Verge. Sony has confirmed the name of its next VR headset. Unsurprisingly, it's going to be called PlayStation VR 2. Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO and hater of old Gran Turismo games, Jim Ryan announced the name as part of Sony's CES 2022 presentation in a move reminiscent of 2 years ago when the PS5 logo was first revealed on stage in Vegas amid much fanfare.
I'm excited about 6-axis.
The Verge notes it looked like the PS3 and PS4 logos, but with a 5.
I did. I bought all the NFTs.
Sony still hasn't shown off what the headset itself will look like, but we know quite a bit about its specs already.
I mortgaged everything
and bought NFTs. Controllers, which look like the Oculus.
Yeah, both ways.
Cesar's back. Cesar, did you buy the NFT so you can participate? Or did Brant right-click and save and send it to you so you can participate? I see you refilled your drinks too. Well,
beat it.
The controllers, which look a lot like the Oculus Quest controllers, now officially named Sense controllers. All the way back in March, they showed those off. The headset supports haptic feedback, eye tracking, 4K HDR, 90/120 Hz frame rates, foveated rendering, and a field of view of 110 degrees, and it connects to the PS5 with a single USB-C cable. That is my sticking point. But we'll end up going through some other stuff, and then I'll come back to it. Visual fidelity. For a high-fidelity visual experience, PSVR 2 offers 4K HDR, 110 degree field of view, and foveated rendering. With an OLED display, players can expect a display resolution of 2000 by 2040 per eye and smooth frame rates of 90/120.
I don't know, Richard, man. Back in the day, for me, I also had one of those handheld TVs
680
with the antenna.
480, you know what I'm saying? Headset-based controller tracking with inside-out tracking. PSVR 2 tracks you.
No, but I never had a game here. It's like those portable TVs.
Headset.
I think you could.
Your movements and the direction you look at are reflected in-game without the need for an external camera.
Mine was like with a 5-inch screen and got a UHF, not the movie, but the actual channel stations. Yeah. I'll still fire it up, man. Hoping that something's broadcasting.
We had a black and white one that we would hook up in my dad's Pontiac Vibe and play PlayStation Uno games on it. Black and white.
Yeah.
Yep. Just about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we hooked a PlayStation up to it.
And they signed that in the law like in the 90s. Remember when they were going to get rid of it? It was like forever you needed a box. Remember a digital box or the converter box?
You need a converter at this point.
We're going all digital. Everything's going to look great.
They killed that. That sucks. They did. When did that switch over? Like 2010, 2011? It's been a while now.
No, man, we're old, man. I mean, One Piece is almost as old as me, so.
In my mind, it seems recent. Yeah. In my mind's eye, that seems like something that was not that long ago, but I guess it has been 10 years or so. You're telling me. One Piece is everlasting. New sensory features. PSVR 2 Sense technology combines eye tracking, headset feedback, 3D audio, and the innovative PSVR 2 Sense controller to create an incredibly deep feeling of immersion. Skip ahead. Additionally, PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech makes sounds in the player's surroundings come alive, adding to this new level of immersion.
Sorry, Brandon, I saw you drinking, like, whatever you were drinking was invisible, so it was like you just doing this.
Simple look in a specific direction can create.
Yeah, I had to laugh because it disappeared when you were doing it. I'm like, what the hell's happening?
Players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, allowing for a heightened emotional response and enhanced expression that provide a new level of realism in gaming. What got you? Just chugging it. Jim Ryan also announced the first big exclusive title for PSVR 2.
It's gonna be like $500.
Next month's Horizon for
it's gonna be impossible to get.
Of Sony's 10th.
It's gonna be fucking expensive, yeah.
Though there's no indication of a release date for either the game or the headset just yet, you can watch a brief teaser trailer below. All right, what do you guys think? I think we're all early adopters here on this one. But what is our? It's gonna be $500. It's going to be possible to get. So I am disappointed. I thought, because I've been doing a lot of stuff with the Oculus Quest 2 recently, I thought this was going to be
they already said that wasn't going to be the case,
maybe
basically.
It's naive. I thought you could buy this like a PlayStation Vita or a PSP, and it was its own thing. You would not need a PS5, which are still hard to come by. Like, why would you release something? What, Brian? Go ahead. Right, so I was hoping this would be the case, because we all have PS5s, but it's still not easy for a Joe Schmo who wants to get in on this technology to walk into Walmart, Target, GameStop, Best Buy.
Go try to get 4 for a year, and then just
any of those
give up and then pay the money.
You cannot just go in there.
You have to put the year in there, like try for a year and just say, fuck it, I'll just pay the money.
So there's a barrier of entry.
Pay twice the price. That's what most people end up doing. Yeah.
You have to follow 5 Twitter accounts, or you have to pay $900, or whatever it is, whatever your barrier of entry is for PS5. Then you have to have this on top of it.
That's how they. That's how they win.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the investment. Cesar's right. That's part of the investment. It's the emotional weight and the on top of the amount of waiting or trying to find it or paying someone who is flipping it to you, that sort of thing. So my biggest disappointment in this is that it's not a standalone PlayStation VR, because I've been doing so much with the Quest 2 And I feel like how free that is with no cables and all that. They said it's one cable, which is great. It's already better than... I look back at the PlayStation VR rigs that we all would strap on and have all we have the box that converts everything and the controller or the headset adapter and all that kind of stuff and the camera. So it's already a huge improvement from that, right? And we all love that experience. We didn't have any issues with that. We just
most VR headsets still need
be better.
A pretty decent PC.
And it just seems like that's
outside of the Quest.
That's a missed thing for it to be.
And I mean, I would think
to me, this is
PlayStation is going to do what they did before and come out with a competitive price. I mean, there's no doubt that this is still going to be with all the technology they're packing in this thing. It's probably going to be pricey. I wouldn't be surprised if it was around the $500 mark. But I also am wondering if all you're going to need is to plug it in to this front USB-C connection on the front of the PS5.
The only one you get.
Plug the and that's it. And there's no processing box, like there was with the original PSVR and having to hook up 5 different cords. Yeah.
Then you're good.
Mm-hmm. You won't have to worry about this headset dying on you either.
Y'all just heard me bitching about
it's
the
not
Oculus,
like it's,
right?
You've got to make sure it's charged up and everything. You'll still have to charge the controllers, but obviously that's something we're going to have to do with everything.
Fine, if that's what it is, that's fine too. That one cable's not a big deal.
I doubt it, considering they said that that's the other thing is it sounds like you're not going to have to buy that PS5 camera. You're not going to have to buy any additional outside camera. It's just the headset.
The thing I'm more concerned about is the backwards compatibility on the previous PSVR. That's the only thing they kind of not. Yeah, I mean it's funny. Yeah. It's funny. It's like they didn't. I mean, if it was going to be easy and it's going to be all backwards compatible, they would have just thrown that out there. But it seems like not everything's going to go over as what I'm going to get, or that they're going to have to get a patch after the fact and patch it.
I would assume that they're already they've probably been working on that because with the amount of PSVR titles that they have, it would behoove them to make sure that the majority of those titles carry over. They're probably going to do exactly with what they're doing with PS4 stuff and say, hey, the stuff you have, 89, 90% of it's going to work, but every game varies.
Without the camera, yeah, because he's using the camera on most of those things. So
I'm sure you might have to calibrate it or something, but maybe you have to use those move controllers
interface there,
and the cameras in this new headset will be able to track those move controllers.
Identify where those
we don't know yet.
I've bought a couple more because I got one with the old micro B and I got one with the mini Bs. Like there's 2 different sets, so I got one of each.
Yeah.
No, Brent, you're right, but we're talking about Sony, man. We're talking about they put the ball in the developers' court, like, hey, give you a way to make this playable on the machine, but it's up to you. And we'll help you out, but you got to pay for it, Because I mean, look at Robinson the Journey, which is a VR game that's still not playable from PS4 and PS5, because Crytek wasn't going to go in there and fix it. So.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's like all Sony said was like Crytek needs to go in there and patch it to work, and Crytek's like, we're not paying money to patch this game because
What's different about those 2 versions?
I don't have a lot of faith that they're all going to work. I got faith that they'll find a way to work, but they're going to be like, it's up to the developer to do it. It's not going to be like Microsoft, who they have a team that does it for.
That was in one of those Sony events we went to.
For the developers and publishers, like, hey, man, we got the fix. You just need to go through the process and resubmit the game,
That's weird.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to hope for the best, but, I mean, only time's going to tell.
I'm hoping I'm proven wrong. I promise you. I'm hoping they look at the stuff that Microsoft has done and they're like, all right, we can't do this anymore. Like we're trying to get as much playable stuff on there, so we don't have people bitching about content. So, especially on this day of age where there's like content everywhere. Like we're all consuming content nonstop with Netflix and everything. So, but it's all about who has the most content now.
I mean, and the thing is, I mean, I know a good bit of people that own PS4s and a handful that own PS5s. And of the people that own PS4s, not everybody really has a PSVR. But you think that everybody that already has the first version of that is already sold on VR. So if you're going to come out with PSVR 2, you're most likely to purchase that are the people that are already in that ecosystem. So you want to, hopefully they want to try and keep those people happy. But like you said, it's money's going to talk for Sony.
This is the last ride for VR for Sony. So if this doesn't take off, they're going to let it die. I'm hoping that this headset is going to be powerful enough where they can put an actual AAA game in there where it's going to get people who are not interested in VR to come in there like, holy shit, I want to play this. It has to be a killer app. There's not too many killer apps in VR. Yeah. But that's the only one. That's why it never really took off on PC. I mean, there's not many. A lot of those PC VR ones tend to follow that same type of gimmick, and nobody's really evolved it yet into something like, oh man, this is the only thing I can fucking do here, So
is Half-Life Alyx?
Because Half-Life Alyx was a very good one. Resident Evil 7 in VR was really mind blowing for me, even though I got sick. But it was like you moved around in that.
Yeah.
But you moved around in that world and it worked, it was crazy. At the time, now it's not a big deal, but at the time when it came out, I was like, holy shit, But it's like even Elder Scrolls in VR is pretty fucking cool, and Borderlands 2 in VR is pretty fucking cool. So I'm like getting thrown in that world and be like one-on-one, seeing that interaction on there. So, but I'm waiting for something to come in there and it's like, all right, you gotta play this shit, Not just get PSVR 2 up there, just get everybody in VR and get them elevate everybody to make that the standard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we need that Wii to Wii Motion Plus jump.
You bring up a good point, but I think that's just a greater. It's like a perfection. It's like doing like going from DS to DS Lite, in my opinion. I was like, I don't know if they did anything else with it other than like, hey, this
jump, like, hey, this is way better. This is what we promised.
This one-to-one tracking,
mired in
but
shovelware and
it's not backwards compatible with all these games, and it only works for new games and or whatever. There weren't patches back then, so you couldn't patch it outside of the whatever the Wii channel patches were. So it's kind of like they were just dead on that system. So I still have that fucking Wii channel patch for Skyward Sword on my thing. Yeah. So I think that was the only one that was big enough where like, oopsie, we can't fuck up on this,
True.
I think it's one of the only things you can still download on the Wii.
Skyward Sword. Me too.
Well, yeah, we got to see what this thing does. I mean, we just got the specs. We got one game announced. We don't know anything. We don't know anything else. So. Mm-hmm. Other than this, like it was CES. They came out. I'm surprised Sony came out with something game related. Other than their sizzle reel, and like we sold 2 million more PlayStation 5s because can't make any more. So I was like, it's
It looked good. It was a very brief preview.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I don't know, man. You can't argue that. So it sucks. And then on to the next story and next month's gamepad now.
The PSP was a great handheld.
Oh, damn.
We believe in the future of the
universal
media disc.
There you go. You have heard of me.
You have heard of me.
All right, next up, announced Death Stranding Director's Cut coming to PC this spring. Currently available.
Hey man, GameFly still puts them on sale every so often, like once in a blue moon. So
I'm trying to.
Could have got RV on there.
According to Saruman Okamatsu, What happened? Oh, pirates. UMD, baby. Oh, God bless UMD. UMD was ahead of its time.
Yeah, but there was no pricing, right? No pricing was announced. There was no path to victory.
No pricing, no up.
And then other than they're using the Intel, that new Intel environment, that's what it was. Intel something. On Xenomorph, what was it? Intel something.
This spring.
Not Xenomorph. Intel Predator. What was it? What was the other thing?
Store. Both companies announced Death Stranding.
Already a better version. It's Intel's new XeSS technology. NES from Earthbound. It's I think it's supposed to be like
you also get the
but it's pronounced with a NES.
77 DLC.
But I think it's supposed to be like similar to what Nvidia did with artificial intelligence. When it enhances the graphics and the environment. It's the same thing, but it's like it's going to be on a graphics card that none of us can afford. So I'm looking at buying like a gaming PC, and the thing's like it's cheaper for me to buy a gaming PC pre-built than it is to buy a graphics card. So. Are you guys getting Magnolia Network ads? It's like that's all I get from
like DLSS stuff.
No, I closed it.
Is it
or be available?
Yeah. What? It's a DIY, the do-it-yourself network. So.
All right. So
why is it? I don't watch that shit. Why is it sending me these ads? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are y'all getting these ads, or is it seeing my internet options like Cesar? We know you're streaming this shit. I'm like, I never streamed a day in my life with Discovery or whatever the hell this is. So I'm like,
do you mean that the TLC network is being rebranded as Magnolia Network?
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to lose somebody's life.
Right, DIY network. So, someone... Wait, Brant, you have my chair
I'm just
too?
concerned why it seems like they're singling me out. I'm like, I don't even watch this shit.
So
I just remember watching the one episode where Chip Gaines ate the cockroach, and I was like, and that was only because somebody watched it at work, and I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
I don't know if that is like a common advertisement that's needed across the board, especially in our circle, right?
It's for the show, I guess. That's what. Oh, I got you, man.
I got some.
Like me, it's like me playing a VR game. It's very difficult.
For some reason. That's my thought. She's like way too mean to him.
No, I have some anything? Peacock ads.
Brent, you got anything?
You've been watching a lot of Peacock?
I'm empty. I'm out.
No.
How the fuck did they get that algorithm going? I don't watch any of that shit.
So sorry, go ahead.
Photo with Chip Gaines and Diana. What's her name? Joanna something? Diana something?
So sorry, picked a cup of a carpenter.
I don't know, man.
And now I have Chevrolet and Chick-fil-A.
I'm Elvis. Elvis is in mine too, so yeah.
Joanna Gaines, you are in the Gaines.
What is this?
Joanna.
Capital One and Chick-fil-A again. So yeah, it's different ads.
All right, I'm just curious why I'm getting singled out with that shit. I'm like, what?
Thank you, Cesar.
Just close out the whole thing.
Joanna Gaines, Perfect Dark. Joanna.
Oh shh.
Oh, Xbox
shit.
Wire.
I'm on the Xbox page,
Wire.
so. Yeah, I'm going based off pictures. I'm not reading the thing down there because that's how I was raised since kindergarten. Let's go. All right, Ember.
Let's do it.
Cloud plus console plus PC.
All right, Cesar, tell us what PlayStation Now games you're
all I see is Goro from like Mortal Kombat, but it's Gorgoa, Cloud plus console plus PC.
Okay, sure.
This always looks like Ouija board, but it's Elijah, Cloud console and PC. No, it's Elijah. Yeah.
No, I think it is Elijah.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's
the
Elijah, but it's just weird.
Gorgoa.
Then you have
Yep.
What?
All right, let me stop being a douche. Let me go because I don't even have the dates here. So available today is Gorgoa, Elijah, and the Pedestrian is available as we speak, and these are all on Cloud console and PC. Coming soon, which is I think some of these were showing up today, right? I think Ember came through already. So Ember is on Cloud console and PC. Tomorrow is going to be Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is huge. That's going to be from the EA play. Outer Wilds is already available, even though it says tomorrow, and that's on cloud, console, and PC. And Outer Wilds is really good. Not to be confused with Outer Worlds, but now both Outer games are now on Game Pass. The Outer Collection, yeah. Spelunky 2 is going to arrive on console and PC January 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple versions of Spelunky, and I've yet to put more than 2 hours into it because I was playing like, this looks cool, and then I die instantly, and it's like the fucking Dark Souls of whatever
Outer Collection.
Spelunky is. All right.
I've never played a Spelunky. This game.
All right, the Anacris.
Whenever I was listening to the PlayStation
game previews coming to console and PC on January 13th, available.
They were all about Spelunky.
We'll go with your pronunciation. Available on day one with Xbox Game Pass.
Just because that's all they were talking about is Spelunky.
To save, nobody knows what it is. It's a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter set aboard a massive starship stranded in the edge of explored space. Team up with your friends in an infinite replayable fight against alien hordes to unlock perks, weapons, and new ways to play. Is basically what? Left 4 Dead? Is that what we agreed on?
Yeah.
DLC game updates. You got Minecraft's New Year celebration through January 17th. Your perks for this month is Apex Legends Rig Helmet, Phantasy Star Online 2's monthly bonus. And then the good old leaving January 15th on Game Pass, Desperados 3, not the movie. I don't even got up to 3. Ghosts of a Tale, Kingdom Hearts 3, finally. How long has that been on there? For like a year. Mount and Blade Warband, Pandemic. Finally, the pandemic's over. Everybody made that joke on the Twitter.
Yeah.
And Y2K, a postmodern RPG, which is on PC, is also leaving. They made a note that PUBG Battlegrounds is leaving Game Pass, but is becoming free to play in 2 days later. So it's going to be gone for 2 days.
Yeah.
So get it in while you can. And that is your Game Pass update for the month. Anything you want to add, Brant, Richard, before I go on to the PlayStation Now updates?
No, let's PlayStation Now.
I haven't looked at this yet, so it's going to be a surprise for all of us. But no, I'll just for me, none of y'all. All right. Coming to PlayStation Now in January, it's going to be Mortal Kombat 11. This is the one they just added on Game Pass, right? Yes. Okay. Now, yes. But the only difference is that this is locked to PS4, right? They haven't done any PS5 stuff yet.
No.
Yes.
Tell us.
I think PS Now includes everything. I think that's how they usually work. Yeah. I think you get all the DLC on PS Now, and that I think they sell that separately on Game Pass. I could be wrong. I'll correct it if not. I'll do the research that I don't feel like doing. All right. Final Fantasy 12: The Zodiac Age.
No DLC.
Furry Unleashed, which looks like Metal Slug.
Really?
I don't know, man. Comic Zone. Shoot your way through pages of an ever-changing, probably Contra more like it, ever-changing comic book in this fast-paced roguelike. Play solo in local or online co-op. Expand your weaponry and upgrade your hero with every run. All that to find out why your creator has lost his faith in you and prove him wrong. Sounds like Comic Zone. All right. Unturned. Super Time Force Ultra, which I heard was fun back in the day. Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition, because you can't get any more enhanced. And that is everything for your PS Now.
That's it. Beautiful.
Yep. If you haven't played Final Fantasy 12, now's a good time. If you have PlayStation Now. I'm in the final boss, and for whatever reason, I never finished it. So. Like, I think that's how my I don't want to get off topic, but Skies of Arcadia. That's how my Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast was. I got to the final boss, and for whatever reason, I never went back and finished it. I'm still there. They're still waiting on me. I have to save still. Yeah.
Your Banjo-Kazooie.
That's a good ass game.
Yeah. That save is 20 years old. Banjo-Kazooie save is like 3 years old. That Skies of Arcadia could be my child. It's 20 years old. That sounds about right. I'll go ahead and get to that save point on the Nintendo Switch with Banjo-Kazooie and just stop after I get to the game board. That way I can consistently do that in every version of Banjo-Kazooie.
maybe 2 years old with Banjo-Kazooie. You realize we're closing in on 4 years.
I'll stream it this time and just rage quit at that point and just keep doing that every year and just get to that point and just rage quit and just never beat it, never play it again. So.
Keep your save files across.
Yeah.
Same across the board.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to go to... Let's do games of the year. I'm saying we can always catch up. We're an hour in, exactly. I'm saying we can always catch up on games played. We can summarize 2 weeks if we need to. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's pound out our games of the year.
I don't know how deep in depth I'm going to get.
Do we want to elaborate on each? Do we want to expound on each person?
Sorry, I had to look at Echo because Echo's going off.
I have a good summary of mine. Mine might take 2 minutes.
Off.
If the Dolphins?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, because we have
the Dolphins.
I renamed all my Amazon devices to not say Alexa.
Here. Yeah, Brent.
And I chose Echo as their call name. Yeah. Now they're all going off. Because I don't have to worry about Alexa coming randomly off from TV and be like, oh, I didn't catch that. Ha, ha, ha. And, you know, it's on in my face. And I'm like sitting there just trying to watch football. But,
Echo the Dolphin. CD.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just go, damn you, Martian. Okay. Damn you, Martian, amphibian. That's all I say. Mammal. Mammal, amphibian. All right.
So I decided not to because I play a lot of Sega Genesis.
Yeah, whatever, man. Look, I don't want. I mean, let's do this. Let's see how much time we have left for games played. I don't think mine's gonna take that long either way. But I mean, let's see. Let's just go with it. I'm not gonna go expand on too much about it. I'll just say why I liked it and just keep moving. So.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have 6. I have to boot one of these.
No, let's do round robin. How many you got?
Yeah.
Brent.
Just somebody.
Because I was gonna. We all start with our 5th one and then work our way up and just go around in a circle. That's what I was pitching.
Yeah. All right, y'all want me to kick off like we do games
Or we can start with 6. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I said we just keep it going. So. Yeah.
I have 6 of my games of the year. I could not kick another one out. I have 6. Okay, let me go with my 6, and then we start off. All right, let me do 6 and 5. You ready? Number 6, because I didn't finish this game. This is one of my big things. This to me is the best PlayStation 5 exclusive game you can buy. If you get a PS5, if you're lucky enough, you need to own this game. This is the reason to own a PlayStation 5. And this might be on y'all's list, but I know you enjoyed it, and that is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is a game only possible on PS5. It is some people may say it's a PS2 game, sure. But this is what our mind's eye said a PS2 was going to be, and what a PS3 might be, and what a PS4 might be, and then what the PS5 actually showed us. And I enjoyed every minute that I played.
That was on my honorable mention.
It is one of the few games where I'm like, okay, I can go back and
mine as well.
I'm gonna finish it, and I will do that in the next.
Honorable mention. I echo everything you say on everything you said, Richard.
This year, as far as
it's a great game. It's a beautiful game. It's like you said, showcase of what PS5 can do.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was one of those. Okay, good deal. Honorable mentions or top 5? Okay. Echo? Okay. Alright, I'm going to go with another one of mine, since I had 6 technically up there. And this was a game that I played before, but it came back into my circle based off of a Legendary Edition that came out this year. And I rolled credits on this game. I never thought I would, and I enjoyed every single minute of it, every story beat, every selection, every weapon, every mission, every character, start to finish, top to bottom. That was Mass Effect, out of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I love this game. I talked about it when it came out. I got it on, I paid for the digital copy on Xbox, I think it was, so I made sure I got the Series X version. And now that we've talked about it coming to Game Pass, everyone who's listening to this, please fucking download this. This game is absolutely incredible. I loved every minute of it. I played it on easy. It was not challenging.
Not Ashley.
I died.
Ashley was never a part of it.
Maybe. But I just played it for the story, and I had a great interaction with Cesar at a certain time of the year where we were talking about this game, and he was like, hey, make sure you put your points in this. And it avoided.
I'm going to piggyback on that. That was one of my honorable mentions, but mine was the whole trilogy. It wasn't in my top 5, but I had a lot of fun going through all 3 of those games. I enjoyed it more going all 3 at once. That's just me personally.
I won't even hold back.
But it's like video games can be like food sometimes. I mean, everybody enjoys it differently. So, but for me, I enjoyed that whole. I went back to back on everyone on 1 through 3, and it was a lot of fun. So, I had more fun. I had. Second one is in top tier. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan when the third one came out, but playing this back to back, I have a little bit more appreciation for the third one.
So. Like, everybody has raved about this series for over a decade, and I finally got it. That first Mass Effect, I was like, oh my god, this is incredible.
I don't know if you want to go first, Brant. Sounds like yours is going to be different. I don't think you have more than 5, right, Brant?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm doing something completely different. I'm not just doing. I have a game of.
All right.
Yeah. So y'all want to go?
So Brant, you know what? We'll let you do your thing. You want to just go all Richard, all in, and I'll go all in, and then let Brant finish.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. I was just gonna say I'm doing my own basically mini game awards. I have like categories. I have a category.
I don't want to mess up your groove, man. That's all.
Oh
yeah,
I do too.
No, it's good.
Yep. And then we'll give you do you have cutout keyless you can give us that we can hold in our images?
I could go through my list.
Yeah.
I could go through my list. Okay.
Yeah, we all got the same cutout.
All right, I'll go through my list. Cesar does his and Brent does his.
Hey, we're all about the same level of beer. I think we're a little less than yours. Just a little bit. Top yourself off.
I have one cutout.
Just
a bit. just position Master Chief's head up there. Okay. Let's rectify that. That situation can be improved. Do I have the handle properly? Yep, that's exact. That's pretty close. All right, I'm gonna go through mine real quick because y'all have heard me talk about these games the entire year. I had Mass Effect. I had Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Another game that took over our household was Mario Party Superstars. The whole family played this. It is a return to Mario Party. People have been bitching about Mario Party games for at least 10 years. They either had a car or they had there was a gimmicky Wii U pad, or there was something that kept this from being a great Mario Party game, and this was the one. This brought it back. It had all sorts of games from across the N64 and GameCube and even Wii U libraries. Some of the games we would pick, it would have Mario Party 10 at the top, and I'm like, okay, sure, I never played this one, but fine. And this, our family literally has a trophy now that we hand out to the current winner of Mario Party. So it's become a thing in our household. We've had a lot of fun with it. I love Mario Party Superstars. Will be a favorite game forever because of the impact that it had on our family here. Another one I have on my list is Moonrider. This is as friend of the show Dale has coined it, Free Saber. This is a free Beat Saber alternative through a browser on the Quest 2. So instead of spending $30 on Beat Saber, which they market everywhere, you can download Firefox Reality for the Quest 2
quite
device,
a bit. I put my son in VR a couple of times when he was
which is legit
under the age of 12, but never for very long. But yeah, once he was about 12, that's when I let him play a couple of things in VR. So
the eyes and
yeah.
12 I'm good with. Mine are a good bit younger than that, so I've been hesitant. But the missus and I, we would literally fight over the quest and the battery pack. This is the one thing we had to break the battery pack out and put on the quest so that we could keep it going. And no matter what you look for, like the Skyrim theme or Eminem's Lose Yourself, you know, you could just search for any song and it would have a version of it on here and you could play it. And Moonrider was definitely a game of the year for us and myself. The last two that I have on my list should come as no surprise. Halo Master Chief Collection, as it was last year and maybe the year before. They didn't add that much, but there were still a progressive like unlock system and new seasons and things that you could do. And then just the sense of community, like as we've gone through this pandemic, you know, and not been able to have LAN parties and interact with players and things like that. This has been something that I leaned on. Saturday night became Halo night. I've talked about it all throughout this whole year, and that became a huge part of this year, is being able to play with friends and play. For a long time, it's just Halo 1. That's how we played on Master Chief Collection. And with flamethrowers, and I've described all these different game types and everything. And then just when we thought there would never be another good Halo game, they released my personal game of the year. I have not beat the campaign yet. I know Brant has. I'm still playing through that with my brother. When we're able to get together, we swap the controller, and even though we played the first Halo split screen co-op, it's fine. It's fine. I'm telling myself it's fine. With the 8 gigs of RAM or whatever that was, and I've got a Series X in there, and I can't play co-op, but whatever. It's cool. I'm good with it. We're trading the controller back and forth, and we're having a good time with the campaign, and the way it swept up all of my friends and even like acquaintances and all of the multiplayer matches that we had in Halo Infinite, where even in the tech test, just the tech test, the beta, well, technically we're in the beta now, but just the demo of Halo Infinite, where we were able to get people together and play Capture the Flag and run Warthogs and just all that kind of thing. It encapsulates everything I love about games. Challenge, good graphics, sound, music, being able to play with friends. It hit all the right notes, and it's such a special game for me. After all of these years,
you perfectly got all that set up just in time for
besides
for today's
Halo
podcast
that I was playing on Master Chief Collection, but it hit all the right notes, and Halo Infinite is my game of the year.
We couldn't tell. We couldn't tell even with the cutout. There's no way we could have counted all that.
With the Apple Cinema display back there. And I have bought, what's that, Cesar? I did. No, it's just to cover up those, there's technically 6 of those boxes back there I don't want you to see. Sure. You would never be able to tell because Master Chief is a superhuman. It meant a lot to me, and the multiplayer was, I can't explain it almost. Just having everybody together and the big party
that samurai, the second part of that samurai event's up,
and just the fun
it's
that
up
we
now.
had.
Yeah.
It started today.
It's got better objectives too.
And when it first launched, and all that excitement behind it, and I played a little bit more last.
I fell off
weekend,
when I couldn't get it because they never gave me the fucking objectives. So I was like, "Fuck this
in
game."
the future again, so we keep that ball going. But is it coming up? I'm close. Okay, I'm close to it. It's time to get it. It's time to get that samurai armor. I know Brant got it. Yeah, same. So good. Very clearly. Just awesome. Just everything I want in games. Multiplayer. Friends. My brother played with me. Soundtrack. Story. Just it encompassed everything I want in a video game. And even though it's almost a cheat answer, because the multiplayer is totally different from the single player. Even though they both launch out of that same little window on your Xbox, they're two totally different experiences, and you get a different vibe from them and everything. And I can't wait to see what they add, not only in the multiplayer, but when they add the multiplayer co-op. That's what I'm really waiting for. My honorable mentions, I'll be quick. Dead Space.
I'm sure if he was still here, he'd be like, Dead Space 2, Ellie.
Dead Space is fucking great.
He
I fell
hasn't
off like I
responded
do
yet,
on
so.
so many games, but I did realize this game is very, very
might have it
special,
up.
and I need to go back to it. Dead Space was awesome. I know a friend of the show, Renee, will taunt me about please beat Dead Space 1. It's... He's not on there? I see 3 people still. Dead Space was one of the first games that I played on my OLED on the Xbox Series X, the backwards compatible, boosted, all that kind of stuff, and it literally looks like an next-gen game. That is that's a timeless experience. The art style they chose, the atmosphere, the storytelling, the music, ambient music, I guess you could say. That's a special game. Dead Space is really, really good. That was one of my honorable mentions. And the last honorable mention I had was The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This game had me drawn in for probably 3 or 4 weeks. And I literally, again, like Dead Space, I just stopped. There's something else that came up or something in my life was going on. But this was everything about Breath of the Wild that I loved. The openish world, the stamina, all that type of thing, the free roaming, combined with the excellent dungeon design that we all knew from old school Zelda before the Breath of the Wild divide. But it seems like this Switch version is the way to play this. This is the upgrade of all the Wii complaints people had about the Wii version. I didn't have many. The motion controls were kind of weird. You have to sync those controllers a lot, but the way that plays and the dungeon design and the way the levels lay out, and I did miss. I try to pretend, and I'll still say Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time. But the way that a Zelda game will give you an item, teach you how to use it in that area, and then make you execute it either in that area or the dungeon, that sort of thing. And anyone who misses that didn't get that in the Breath of the Wild, they need to go back to Skyward Sword and try this out, because it is a perfection of that formula, I feel like. I have way more attachment to this game than I did Twilight Princess, which I was trying to play through a couple years ago on the Wii U, and this had so much more charm, so many more
you did it.
Moments.
You got through there, man.
The art style is beautiful in the Switch. The controls are perfect with the Switch controllers versus the Wii Motion Plus, and it just it's a very memorable experience from this year. But those are my games of the year from this year, 2021.
Yeah, man. Not trying to talk shit and be negative about you, man, but you probably completed more games this year than I am in the last 2 years, maybe.
So, I've been through my own struggles.
I mean, only because you go through those fits when you buy games in bulk. So like you're just going through like random, like I'm just gonna play a bunch of NES games, or I'm gonna play a bunch of SNES games, because you remember you used to do that like throughout the whole year a lot. So, yeah. So, because a lot of times you just like I fucked around and played like 70 NES games.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I still have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's 9 Xbox games coming to me in the mail that I got, so they were in a lot. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I said, nothing negative, man. I think you completed a lot more games. Like, you didn't play a lot more games, but you probably completed a lot more.
Skyward Sword is kind of a cheat answer.
That should say something for 2021. There's a lot more interesting games for you. It's all about interest, man. You gotta hold your value.
They were relevant games this year. There was new content related to those.
Mass Effect's good, man. I think you're not the only one, because for me that was the first time I beat Mass Effect, because I always played 2 and 3. I always did the action RPG one. Like for me, my favorite Dragon Age was the second one, which was the action RPG one. Like the old school RPG BioWare, I could never get through. Like I never beat Dragon Age 1. I mean, I sat there and got like 30 hours into it, and then I fell off. And Mass Effect was the same thing for me.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I fell off, and it was the same thing for me for Mass Effect. I think I got 10 hours into it on 360, and then I fell off for whatever reason. Now, this is the first time I actually went through and finished it. Now, granted, this When the version me and you played on there was kind of tightened up a little bit to fit more along the second and third one, where they kind of mess with the game mechanics. It wasn't like the old school method, even though that was still in there. So I think that's what helped me finish that game out along. So yeah, because it changes. It changes when you do when you go to 2, because it's either Paragon or Renegade, and like before then it's like. And it was always, remember I told you the top choice is the positive and bottom choice is the negative. And it's like you had to get a high enough positive choice so you can save everyone type of tactic. If you don't, then you just get the bad answer. It's like, and it sucks.
Was it persuasion or charisma?
But I fucked up because I didn't. You were a little bit behind me, and so by the time I got up to the point where I had to save a certain character, I didn't have that option. And there was nothing absolutely I could not do to save them, because I was trying to go back and just do random conversations to beef it up, and it was done. Because once you get on that planet, you're stuck. You can't leave that planet. You're stuck. So. Yep. Yeah. And I think when you eventually get to the second one, you'll enjoy it a lot more, because a lot of these characters you have from this first game carries over to the second one. You see them again. And it's like you had a long enough break now that if you ever jump to the second one, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, like their personalities are still there. And you're like, oh, yeah, I still like this character.
You either made these decisions or you have.
I'm not going to take up all this time. For me, I'm just going to do my honorable mentions now. No particular order in honorable mentions doesn't mean if I go last or first that I think any less of it. Honorable mentions for me was Metroid Dread. That was a really good game. Had a lot of fun with it. I think it took
6 months or so.
When I looked at my Nintendo time, I put like 20 hours into that game. It does take a while before you hit your stride on difficulty, but once you hit it, it works. The only complaint I have with that game is it's impossible for me to play in portable. It may be for some other people, but in portable it's tough with those tiny buttons. And trying to hit every mechanic in there, I always felt like it was easier for me to play in a Pro Controller, because I mainly played that on my TV. I tried doing portable and I couldn't. I couldn't. It's not for me. I'm sure it works for somebody else, but it just wasn't for me. You all know I went through the Dark Pictures. House of Ashes is another honorable mention for me. I'm a huge fan of 80s action films, and this had reeked so much of Predator and Aliens. So much of it. It was like, it was great. Some people didn't like it, but I loved it because it was straight fucking Predator and Aliens. That's all it was. It was like a love letter to that. So it was like refreshing to play something like that from like those movies I loved back then, instead of like these movies that come out now where we have to do connected universes for everything because comic books took off, And now, like, if you saw the last Predator film, it sucked ass because they were just trying to do a whole Predator thing where somebody's in a Predator suit like Iron Man and was trying to do like their. Yeah, it was weird. They were trying to do this whole thing in there. And it was so much. Now they're rebooting Predator again. So thank God. The Mass Effect, which we talked about before, I won't go into detail. That was also an honorable mention. Halo Infinite was an honorable mention for me. Had a lot of fun playing the multiplayer with you guys. That is all I got. I've yet to put any time in the single player. I just haven't had time to do it. But then again, I've always been Halo multiplayer. I think the only time I've ever got coerced into doing single player is when we have co-op. So I might, if they put co-op in there, I might end up jumping in single player eventually. Then that's probably what's going to take for me to get in there. I don't think I've ever done a single player by myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's half the fun. Is like, it's like, did you see that shit? You see that shit? Like that's half the fun too. It's like, yeah. You see that guy screaming? Why is that villain? Why does that guy just keep screaming? It's like,
I feel like I'm missing out.
Like, did it break on your end too?
Back and forth, it's not the same because we need to all be playing these.
Yeah, it's all part of it. Skyward Sword was also on my honorable mentions. I actually beat it. Yeah, it took me like 35 hours. I did it through all motion controls. Holy shit! I never could get past the motion controls on the Wii. It wasn't for me. I tried playing both, and I prefer doing the motion controls because I couldn't stand holding the L button to do certain things. You had to hold the L button to do certain things, and I was like, it was extra work. But I'm not going to go into it. I agree with everything you said, Richard. I think it was like, if you're not a big fan of the open world, they're good. On this podcast, I'm not a big fan of open world games. They scare me. I always think I'm doing something wrong. That's my biggest fear. If I go to a therapist, that's what they're going to tell me. I have to work through with my therapist on open world games. I'll get there one day.
Trash. So yes. Yeah.
So one day I'll get there. But this was like a perfect marriage of like the open world and like you said, the old formula Zelda in there. I was like, I wouldn't mind playing something like this. If I imagine if we're going to go to an old style Zelda game, this is the blueprint they would use.
That's my go to the icons. Yeah. The icons are not bad.
The blueprint Zelda basically, or old school Zelda. Ratchet and Clank felt the same way. Mentioned it earlier. You know, graphically, the way it plays, it just plays so polished. It's so well done. They didn't change much from the PS2. Like from that whole, you can see from the PS2, like they just took on it and expanded upon it, and that's what they literally did with the series. The mechanic of loading different dimensions was really cool. My only complaint, I wish there was more of that because they kind of sold it when they previewed the game, and it didn't seem that there was that much of it. But it's cool. I liked it. That was my only complaint, not a negative complaint. But then again, you know that we're still early in development on this console. So going into my top 5, I was looking at everything I played this year, and I was like, holy shit, there's a lot that came out this year. So I think my first one on my top 5 was Ys 9. And I went through the whole thing earlier this year when I went through Ys 8, Ys 9, Ys Origin, and just played every fucking Ys game, and I got some kind of Ys kick. Ys 9 was good as hell. That one you play as Adol, who's stuck in a city that's kind of like Rome, and you end up meeting these demi-humans who were cursed. They call them monstrums, and they're stuck in this cycle where they have to hunt these monsters on the full moon. And so the story on there was probably the weaker one of the Ys games for a while, but it's always been the gameplay for me. It's the action RPG aspect because I actually went. It's the gameplay. It's all it was. I think the story for the 8th one is still the best one, and it was because of most of the twists from going different time eras in there, which was pretty cool. And as it opened up, it made it even better. I was like, holy shit, you know. This one wasn't too much on the surprises. The story's not bad, but I mean, it gave you a more open world map similar to like Assassin's Creed, where you had to go in there and collect feathers and bullshit on there, and like other stuff on there, and it was dictated to a city, so it was a little bit bigger. Ran like shit on PS4, runs like shit on Switch. This is definitely a PC or a PS5 game, so just a warning, because you'll get a frame rate drops on those two PS4 or Switch console. So it sucks on Switch because you're stuck. There's no hardware upgrade to fix that issue. Like at least on the PS4 version, I can play on PS5 and it plays fine. It plays perfect. You know, 8 is really good on Switch, and 8 is really damn good. Dana, she's one of my favorite characters of all time. I love that character. She was so fucking awesome, and I wish she was in every Ys.
I heard it was trash on Switch.
Number 4 for me was Deathloop. I know a lot of people shit on it because of the marketing thing on there. It's when it starts out in the beginning, it's like it's easy to distance yourself from this game. And it's like there's a lot of marketing on it, and it takes a while to hit its stride because there's a lot of blueprint where it kind of like shows you, all right, this is how you play the game, and pulls you along and holds your hand. But then once you get the idea of how, all right, you gotta kill all these visionaries, you got to do it to break the loop, and then you have to do it, and then as you go through and you explore and you kill one, then it leads you to another visionary who tells you like you can only kill them at this time. And so you have to plan the perfect day where you kill them all at the same day to break the loop. They all have to die at the same day to break the loop. So if one survives and one gets away, then you start the whole loop over again. So the biggest point for me was I'm not very big in first-person shooters, but this one was a very puzzle-esque one where you look at how we do stealth games, like how me and you, Richard, sometimes will play stealth games where we look at something like, all right, I'm going to crawl over here and try to take somebody out like we all do sometimes with Uncharted or Metal Gear, or, and get that enjoyment of that puzzle sequence with stealth games. Yeah. Basically, and then you're cycling through everything trying to figure it out. That's Deathloop. That's Deathloop. Yeah. That's Deathloop. I'm running everywhere. I'm getting gunned down. There were certain ones where like I was at a party, it was like literally hundreds of people coming at me. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I put a Gatling gun, I still died. I'm like, and then that's like, I found out like if I go into the tunnels and go over here and trick somebody and turn off their beer flow, and then one of the visionaries come down and is like, who turned off my beer? And he goes down there and I break his neck, and then I just go in there. So there's so many different ways you can kill these visionaries, and there's so many different. It's crazy how deep this game is, and for the maps for being so small, and the same thing at different times and days and different areas, it's so detailed. And the story was really, really good because it doesn't really hit its stride to the very end. And I was like, man, it was really good. And I was like, maybe it should have done it sooner. But I think if they would have done it sooner, I think they would have drug it out. The whole twist they had in there, I think it was perfect. The game was perfect. You have to beat it. It's not one of those ones you can get to the middle and be like, all right, I got to feel it. You have to beat the game to the end to get the complete feel of it. Number 3 was Record of Lotus War. That one, like I said, we talked about it the last couple of weeks. I'm a big fan of the anime. I'm not maybe been a big fan of like the Castlevania and Symphony of the Night. I like those games, but I think what pushed me along to beat that story, and I sat there almost straight to the end from start to finish, was the story, because I was a big fan of Record Lotus War. But like, you heard Brand talk about it, the different ways to use magic. It's smooth. It's smooth. It's addictive. It's like any other Castlevania game. You're going through it and just you get into a zone with it and you just keep going. And it's like the only time you sit there and you're questioning yourself is when you get someplace where you die and you're like, oh fuck, There were times I had to turn it off and walk away and like, all right, and then I waited like 15 minutes and then come back to it and I was able to beat it with no issues. Number 2 for me was Resident Evil Village. We forgot this came out this year, or at least I did, because I went through Resident Evil May, because I went through Resident Evil 7 and then I went straight into Village, and I did that duology, and that was a great game, and for me that was a great way to play it. But this one was more of like I never beat Resident Evil 4, can't speak on it, but this one was even more in the action oriented, like Resident Evil 4.
It was like January.
Yeah. And so it was good, and I enjoyed the story very well. It was very well done. It's one of those Resident Evils I wouldn't mind and go back and play again. Same thing with 7. Like I said, graphically it looked great. It ran well on PS5. It was one of those first next gen games I didn't have any issues. I probably ran well both on PS5 and Series X, even though it was cross gen.
The only one I have.
And then my number 1 game of the year was Psychonauts 2. Put 30 hours into that game. I stuck with it the whole time. There was not a time where I ever felt that the game was too long or it was too short. I thought it was perfect. It was polished well. Some of the best platforming I've ever played. It scratched that itch a little bit better for me than Ratchet & Clank did. Because I thought Ratchet & Clank was going to be my platformer for the year. But Psychonauts 2 was so fucking perfect. It's perfect. And it's fucking criminal how little recognized that game got this year. Like, people bitch about on Twitter. It's like they are not lying. That game is so fucking good. It's so good. It's like, it is so good. I had so much fun. I had so fun collecting everything, collecting all the figments and getting the badges and, updating my character. I get new powers and different powers to different things. And I did different badges to different powers. It was so fun. There was so much customization to the game. And story-wise, it was so good. It was so good story-wise. I was skeptical on the whole thing because I was a big Double Fine fan. And I went through Psychonauts 1, VR, and 2 in December, all back to back. And I'm glad that Microsoft ended up buying, Double Fine for that, because originally they weren't going to finish Psychonauts 2. They were getting ready to. They were losing money. They ran out of money. They were going to cut it off at some point. So when that's why the game got delayed a year, because Microsoft let them finish it. They went ahead and it's complete. It's done. There's no cliffhanger. There's no cliffhanger at the end of the first game. It's a whole complete game. Like it is so satisfying. It's one of the most satisfying platformers I ever played. So that's it. That's everything from this year. Dropping the mic. I love that fucking game. So good. I'm gonna go play it again on Xbox and get 100% in achievements on that one. I'm gonna go do it again. Infinite. I mean, the game is so good. I never thought. I played the first one a couple times. And I was like, and I was like, I just fell off of it, and I just like, let me go through it. And the first one is done so well, and the story's paced so well. It's like you have to just ease it in there and go with it, and not worry too much about it. But once the story takes off, it's so good, man. Tim Schafer's a fucking genius, man. He wrote that whole script for the second game, and I was like, it's so good. It's like there's no faults in that game. Like I said, I never felt there was anything in that game that was lacking. I think that was a perfect platformer. Yeah. And it's like I said, it is criminal how little recognized that game gets for this year for like anything. So, all right, Brant, bring us home.
Oh, so after being with y'all for about a year now, this year I decided I'd yeah.
Wow.
I
high praise.
I decided I'd do something a little different. Every time I played a game, I made sure I pulled up the notes on my phone and jotted the game down.
Well,
and then if I went back and beat it, I'd put the date next to the name of the game when I beat it.
With us.
So this year I played about 55 titles and I beat 24 of them. And that's what I could remember when I remembered to jot it down. There might have been something I picked up for a minute or two and pop something in the Genesis or the Super Nintendo or something and played it for 15 minutes, an hour, whatever, and may have not even wrote down on this.
Nice.
And like I said, I wanted to do something a little different, so I picked made up some categories, picked some categories of games, and then have my game of the year. So there will be a little bit of overlap. I noticed that with everybody sharing their list. But I'll go with something that I agreed with the Keeleys on, and the game that I give the narrative award to is Guardians of the Galaxy. That was it's a really, really good game. And that's where this game does shine is the story. Gameplay is pretty solid. I mean, I could see some people maybe not liking the way that you have to like direct certain characters and constantly manage that. But I've been playing another game that you also have to do that with, and I'm liking that one too. Final Fantasy VII Remake. But then let's see. Another category I chose was the horror action category, and that goes to Resident Evil Village. Just like Cesar said, this was so good. This game was so damn good. I said it before. It basically, it's like Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 4 had a baby, and this was the perfect mismatch of the two in one beautiful masterpiece. I do. Yeah. Let's Kombat. I did not have an action. I did not have an action platformer. I did have a combat / gameplay category, and I gave that to Record of Lodoss War as well, because.
What was your action platformer of the year?
I'm the opposite of Cesar. I went into it not really caring about the story. The story is decent, and now that I've learned a little bit more, I got a little bit more out of it. But just the gameplay is so solid and so satisfactory.
I just brought this game up, and now you are loving it.
I compare it to Symphony of the Night because it basically is. Its gameplay is a direct love letter to that style, and it just works. It works so well. A game that, yes, I finished it before the end of the year. No, it's
and Brent says it's a lot for you to emulate something, but do it well. There's so many times somebody tries to emulate something and just makes you like and then just pop in Symphony of the Night and play that instead. That's what a lot of games will do that, but they've done it.
Y'all both finished that?
They did it well.
Okay. It wasn't too long, right?
This is it works so well, and they added, they made it their own. They added a couple new mechanics, and it's not like, oh well, that doesn't go with this style of game. Oh, this is kind of clunky. It's everything flows so well. It's
not as good as that,
and just meshes great. And it feels like
you said, Brandon. We never know if we're going to get another Symphony tonight, but this feels like this was like a successor to it. Like a step up, at least, like a 1.5. Yeah. Like, okay, if they were going to make another one, this is what they would have followed,
Yeah. Honestly, it feels more than a successor than Bloodstained, if that's what you were going to ask.
Yeah.
Bloodstained was I beat that the not of course last year, but the previous year that I started. That was one of the first games played I talked about was that one. And
that's exactly what I was about to ask you, because I know you got big into that.
And I enjoyed that game too. It was very good, but to me, some of the music just didn't hit like Symphony of the Night did, and this whole like
it's been so
getting
long.
Ingredients and cooking things and this, that, and the other, that felt clunky to me. It felt like.
It's bad when you got to roll your eyes like, fuck, I got to cook something now. I got to do this bullshit again,
Nah.
Or it's like me, Breath of the Wild. I see my weapon destroy everybody. It's like, buy a weapon. You know, like I used you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, a game that got its own category,
like,
best Halo of the year.
Goes
to Halo Infinite.
Gordon Ramsay won't approve
Because, like Richard was saying, the hype around it, playing that multiplayer beta, getting into multiplayer when the game dropped, our 12v12 matches, 4v4, and all the crazy glitches and random kills from banning. Yeah, that game is absolute roller coaster.
I
and
still
that's
remember
just
when
the
Brant had to
multiplayer.
go play Cuphead waiting for his ban to go up.
I did.
All of it.
Oh. And like Cesar said, we were playing. That was the beta at that point. That wasn't even the full on. Yeah, and we're sitting there, and I got banned, and I started playing Cuphead, and then y'all played one match, and I think Cesar got kicked, and Cesar was banned.
I watched anime,
and it was just a roller coaster ride of emotions. But both the multiplayer and single player of that game are very good. This one will probably throw you guys through a loop. Couch co-op game of the year. This was something I played with my son, and we still bring up to this day. Knack 2.
Yeah. Hey, remember you had a lot of fun with Knack 2 this year. So. A lot of fun.
Oh my
Knack's
lord.
back.
Knack 2 is unbelievably fun.
Cerny's gonna hear this and be like, I gotta make Knack 3.
You better. Don't.
He's like,
don't
his
play
ears
with me.
are like tingling
don't
somewhere.
Play
like,
with me.
It's like his Knack sense is kicking off. He's like, I gotta make another Knack.
Knack 2, baby.
And if he makes it Knack 3, it's got to be like 3 to 4 players. You've got to. Oh, Knack 3D.
Perfect.
And you've got to have the 3D
3D
TV and play it on the PS3. And then my game of the year is Metroid Dread.
3D.
Freaking awesome. This game.
Hey man, Brant did the hard work and went through every Metroid game other than Metroid Other M. And
yes,
in the Metroidverse.
Yes, my technically in my honorable mentions, I actually have the Metroid series, the 2D series as a whole, because I did go through back to back, the 2D Metroids. You did the build up. Had an amazing time playing through those, and Metroid Dread is the perfect coup de grace, I would say. Like it does everything so well. The gameplay, the traversal, the Emmys are freaking terrifying, getting into a room with those things. And then once you're able to get your power up and fight back and figuring out their pattern and how to take them down, and then the story on top of that, the story and how it kind of wraps up everything with this 2D series is very, very good. And beating that game was, I don't know, it was the biggest thing for me this year. So, and then just real quickly, honorable mentions. We talked about Rip Apart. That was good for all of us.
Yes, because that, as of right now, that's probably the if you got a PS5, that's the game to play.
The other PS5 exclusive that got me for a good while was Returnal. That's
everybody says,
and I need to get back in there because they've updated it to where you can actually have like a place to rest and basically kind of have a save.
Yeah, what is it? What is that called? It's kind of like they have them in those RPGs. I think Dragon Quest does them a lot. Where it's like a temporary save. Like as soon as you load up, the save deletes itself. It's not a real save, but it's like a bookmark. Like, hey, we're gonna hold your place right here, but
basically
quick save. Yeah, but it's like as soon as you use it, it deletes itself automatically. I think Dragon Quest has done that for years. So,
Doki Doki Literature Club is in my honorable mentions because that whole game. Oh, that game's a mindfuck, and it's such a good game. The whole time playing it, every time something would happen, just like what the hell is it? What is going on in this game? What is this game? And it was just one twist after another, and kept me glued.
I almost bought it right after you said that. Yeah.
And then my last honorable mention is a game I'd beaten before, but went back and rebeat this past year. The Order.
Yeah.
1886. Literally one of the best games ever on.
I love how Sony renews a trademark on that and people start freaking out like 3 weeks ago.
Mass Effect.
They won't let it die, so it means they might be trying to do something with it, so you never know.
Maybe. We can only hope.
We need to he turned
those that
he turned into Batman at the end. I want to see what happens.
The Order. Yeah, what the fuck? Come on.
Well done, Brent. We're proud of you. Yeah.
We all did it, man.
All I think about when I go to bed is Psychonauts 2, and then I wake up and it's like, ooh, Psychonauts 2.
He did truly. For Galahad.
I think it was last year I loaded up the original Psychonauts, and something happened, and I didn't go back to it, and I know I didn't get super far.
List, yeah.
But after hearing you, I definitely want to go through it because that was after Psychonauts 2 was like originally shown off.
Oh God, my hiccups are so bad.
And it got delayed and everything. And that's what I definitely wanted to do. I wanted to run through that series. So, and you saying what you've said now makes me want to go back and actually do that. I'm gonna have to try to do that.
It's really fucking good, man. I don't know if I enjoyed it more. I see the evolution like they did from like how we see Ratchet and how each game got better. I see that too in Psychonauts 2 because they didn't when you go through each Psychonauts games, barring the VR one, because the VR one is like the typical click and point adventure type style, which is fine. It just continued the story beat like from the first game and sets it up for the second one, which was fine. It was like an hour or two, and it wasn't that terribly difficult, and it wasn't felt like man, this is bullshit. I have to go through this so I can play the second one. I went through it and I had a good time with it, and it didn't overstay its welcome. So, but the second one is like you look at it, it's all the stuff from the first one and expanded upon and made it better. And it wasn't like they said, all right, we're gonna blow the door on this whole formula and change everything around this. All right, we know this works. We just want to polish the fuck out of it, and that's what they did. So
yeah, and that's kind of I don't usually make New Year's resolutions or anything like that, but that's kind of my unwritten or unsaid New Year's resolution this year is I've got a lot of stuff in my collection, and I know you guys do too. And I'm going to make it a point that when I start playing something, it's something that I haven't played yet. Either I haven't really played yet, or I haven't played all the way through yet. It's stuff that slipped through the cracks, and it's what I want to try and get back and do.
Stream it. Go ahead and stream it too.
Yeah.
Not just SR and Psychonauts 2, but if you look at a lot of the games on our list, it's not.
Halo
Infinite's single-player campaign is not rocket science. It's filling in the gaps of what you thought you were doing in the first Halo. So it's fleshing out those same things in a next-gen capability, And I had Skyward Sword on there. Sword
so
is a game from
to echo
2011.
what it's funny that you said that, Brand. That's my New Year's resolution as well. Like my back catalog is a catalog that I'll never finish. It's stuff that I'll just look at. I'm living life by one of my coworkers. His job is like I might die. He's like, I think we talked about it this year. He's like, if I can just live long enough for One Piece to finish, he's like, I can go. He said I can go. After that, he's like, I have no complaints. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much for single people, guys. I know you guys are in relationships. It doesn't take much for single people. He's like he just wants to survive to watch to finish One Piece. That's it. So yeah, see, yeah, for you guys and families, let's rephrase that. When you guys are families, it's a whole different story. You know what I mean? It's single people is just, we're simple, man. That's all it is. We just want to consume media. That's it, apparently. So like I said, we won't talk. I'm assuming we don't have time for games played, but that's part of my list is like from like this past week, and that's on my to-do list to knocking out stuff that I wanted to play and get done. So like for instance, and I'm not going to go into details. For instance, I put 12 hours in Tsukihime on PC. That's like a visual novel I want to get done. I beat the first story path, and then I'll talk about it like in detail next week. And then like the other two games I played this week was Police Knots. I got 12 hours in that. I'm almost done. I'm on the third disc.
Yeah.
And then Panzer Dragoon Saga. I'm on the second disc. I'm almost done too. So like I'm knocking out stuff that like has always been on my fucking list.
Wearing out that Polymega.
Like one day I'll play it. One day no, I said fuck it, I'm playing it now. That's all I've been playing. I haven't played any PlayStation, Xbox, or nothing. Yeah, that's it.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, so
that's all it takes.
But yeah, I mean, and I'll talk about the Polymega next week because once I told Richard when I found out how to change it to 120 hertz, it's fucking mind blowing playing those Sega Saturn games at 120 hertz, man.
Awesome.
Fucking mind blowing. And just an FYI, Richard, on the Police Knots, you can change the controller to analog, and it emulates the mouse from the Sega Saturn, so it plays with like you're using the Sega Saturn mouse.
Good deal.
Yep. And the gun, but I mean, I'm talking about from the Polymega part. But outside of playing at 120 hertz, but it emulates it pretty well. I haven't had any issues with it, so. But yeah, I'm just going down my list now.
I have the mouse. I have the mouse and the key and the light gun.
Oh man, you guys are gonna have a ball when I talk about Police Knots, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Oh. And like, if you're gonna play Police Knots, you have to required watching for that thing to enjoy it.
That's the way.
Is gonna be Lethal Weapon.
Keep it being
unapologetic how many story beats they have from all three Lethal Weapons are recreated in that game, to different degrees.
I'm getting too old.
I haven't encountered that yet. Yeah. There's bits, like if you watch Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover's character, he doesn't like using guns because he ends up shooting a kid that didn't have guns. In this game, there was a bit in there where he shoots a guy that was beating his wife that had a kid. The kid watched him shoot the father, and now because of that, he doesn't like to use guns. It's like there's certain elements that are
that's all Kojima shit, though, right?
Similar but different enough that he took from Lethal Weapon. That's like fucking Lethal Weapon 4 before Lethal Weapon 4 came out. It's like Lethal Weapon took place on Total Recall. That you're flying on but you're not on Mars. You're on Beyond Control, which looks just like the fucking Citadel from Mass Effect. It's like the same cone shape and everything. It's like the game is so fucking good, man. The game is so good. I'm glad I'm going through it now. I'm having such a ball playing it, man. The story is so wild. I love it. I'll talk about it more next week, but it's so good, man. I'll have it done by next week. So.
And Metal Gear. Go on. Yeah.
Games are getting stronger. Games are getting.
I don't know, man.
Would y'all say?
And this year looks. This year looks big.
We'll see.
2021 was probably not a great year. 2020 was probably not a great year for any of us. Games are strong, right? Going into this next year, great games are good. Games are accessible. Next year.
Horizon's on the horizon, but I mean, there is a lot of hype around.
What is your,
Elden Ring?
What is your most looked forward to experience?
But I feel that one's going to be almost like a Skyrim or an Oblivion. We're going to get into that game, and it's going to be very daunting. There's going to be a lot to do.
I need to play Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I already told you, mine is, I don't think there's any single game that I am looking forward to that's huge. There's stuff like Horizon that's coming out.
I can still play.
Like, I'm not a big fan of Dark Souls, so
I cannot do that.
I don't know if I'm going to play Elden Ring. So, you know,
what do
I
we
can't.
Look forward to? Yeah, sure.
Maybe Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year.
Look forward to
title tentative. So, sure, Pokemon Legends is coming out. Was it Arceus or whatever the fuck that shit is? But for me, I think. For me, it's like what I told you guys. It's like I'm just going through.
I still gotta play the
got
first
this fucking list of games I've been wanting to play for years, like Panzer Dragoon and Police Knots, and I'm just crossing that shit off. That's what I'm doing this year. I mean, everything else is going to be filler in the middle. So unless I don't think there's anything that is planned for 2022 that I'm like super like, all right, I'm going to drop everything and play this. Like last year was probably Resident Evil Village, and then I didn't expect to like Psychonauts as much as I did. So that was a surprise. That was probably the biggest surprise for me. That I didn't think that was going to hold for me, but I don't think there's anything this year. I mean, when I remember last year, beginning this year, I was looking forward to Resident Evil Village. You know, I was like, all right, I'm going to play this. So this looks interesting. But there's nothing this year that is like, all right, I'm going to play the fuck out of this, or I'm looking forward to it. Or I can't wait till November, or you know what I mean? So,
awesome.
With, I would say maybe Ghostwire Tokyo. But definitely Gotham Knights. I'm looking forward to that because I know when it was originally shown, my son had just gone through the Arkham series, and when they showed that you could go through the story mode and basically play that cooperative, and he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, we can play this together." And his face lit up. I was like, "Okay, that's gonna be an experience." So I am looking forward to that.
Yeah. I've got two things specifically that I know I'm looking forward to. One is I'm going to cut down the barriers of streaming. I have had in my mind, you need to do this, or you need to have this planned out, or it needs to encompass this series. No, I'm just going to come down here, I'm going to plug something up, I'm going to hit go. I've got everything set up down here. I have all the resources, I have all the tools, I have the camera, I have the microphone. I'm going to stream some games next year. I'm just going to do it. And it may be Mega Man 4. It may be The Witcher. It may be American McGee's Scrapland for the Xbox. It may be Final Fantasy X. It may be where I'm at on PS3. It may be Heavenly Sword. It might be Gears of War 2. I don't know. I'm going to just stream. I'm not going to be held to this constraint that I've put on myself, like it needs to be part of something. No, it will be part of NOFODcast, and I will put it out there, and it will be a thing. And I'm also, since I mentioned The Witcher, I'm also looking forward to not only The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, next-gen version on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, but also Cyberpunk. We've kind of laughed and pointed fingers at Cyberpunk for like a year and a half. And I want that patch and that version to come out and people say, because I think now I've bought each version of Cyberpunk for $10. I want someone to say, hey, it's there. Now's the time to play and experience this game, because some people have good experiences with Cyberpunk on like 1.0, and some people have had awful experiences with Cyberpunk. So I want that to be, as much as I've seen their storytelling in The Witcher come through, and I've wrapped up both of The Witcher seasons on the Netflix, and I love both of those. I love that world, those characters, that magic, that lore. I want to dive into that on a next-gen platform, but I also want to see what CD Projekt Red has done with Cyberpunk after this shambled them, I guess you could say, because it was awful. Like, this was the most anticipated game in the past 3 or 4 years, I would say, and it just fell so flat. And it has the chances with these next gen patches and everything to be a redemption story. It can be a Final Fantasy 14. It can be a, what else got this great redemption story like that? Besides Final Fantasy 14. What else did they fix? What else got fixed? There's other things out there. I'm hoping Cyberpunk 2077 is one of those examples. So those are my 2 most anticipated things this year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stream. Gonna stream some random shit. You may not know what you're gonna see on the NOFODcast channel, and I welcome both of you also to throw whatever it is you want on the NOFODcast channel. Just put something on there. We're 3 personalities. There's been 20,000 people listen to these personalities over the past couple years. We have something. We have something here. It's not, we're just doing this to do it. And me and Cesar are talking on the phone every day, leaving work, talking about games and the industry and news and stuff, and us kicking around saying, hey, we can make this a podcast. It is a thing. And it is 4 years into a thing, and it is 20,000 listens into a thing, and we can make this more.
Let's wrap it up.
So anything
good
that y'all want to add to the thing, we can make it more of the thing. Is the summary. So that's what I'm looking for in 2022. All right, we are not going to do games played. We're 2 hours in.